Thanks for tuning in to the KRVN Sports Podcast page, your home for all of the local broadcasts produced by KRVN Sports. This page and the playback is brought to you by Hoegemeyer Hybrids, raising the bar on yield performance. For KRVN Sports, I'm Jason Jorgensen. A big football reunion is coming up this Friday night in Loomis, as the Wolves of the 1970s, specifically the 1975 team, will be honored. This week, I had a chance to talk to their head coach, Bill Patterson, who looks back at that great run for the Wolves.
Well, first time you get your first job when you graduate, you don't know, where you're going to land. And I got hired at Loomis, and their program wasn't real good then. And when I took over, we started winning, and oh man, the crowd got behind us, and I had 38 kids out for football, the year that they're honoring, and just great kids. And then the class below it had great athletes. So, boy, we're on fire.
Did you have any idea when you took that job what you were inheriting?
Well, I always knew I wanted to be a coach. I had a great coach in Aurora by Raleigh Carter, and then I played football for Kearney and Ed Zickman and then Boroff for the last couple of years. And so I had some good coaches that fired me up to want to be a coach. And so I was happy to stay in this area, close to Kearney, so I could be involved with their activities yet.
What was kind of your coaching philosophy? How did this all kind of come together those couple of years for you guys to have as much success as you had?
Well, we were still 11-man back then, and I used the offense that was really successful at Aurora, where I graduated, and those kids bought into it, and it was a great offense that we used, and we had some great athletes. That year, Rick Pettit was probably our main athlete, but Jim Linder was a junior then, and those two connected on passes about every game, and we had some real close games that year that they're honoring us, and beat Hildreth 6-0 and beat Pleasanton in the last game to be the co-champions, and we beat them 14-6. Then Axtell was a close game too, went right down to the wire. We held them on a fourth down, and we won that game by 3 points, 27-24. And so anyhow, it was an exciting year, and when you're winning, everybody's behind you, and crowd's really into it, and so it was fun.
And that was right before the state went to the playoff format, correct?
Well, yeah, because that year we were. Then the following year we were undefeated, and we didn't. They only took like 4 teams in when they first started, and we were waiting for that last game. The team had to lose for us to get in, and it didn't happen. So when the next year after this year, we were undefeated, and had to stay at 9-0, but. The year we're honoring this year is a great year. We beat Pleasanton in the last game to be co-champions, and so we were really tickled about that.
Today we're talking with former Loomis football coach Bill Patterson, as the Wolves of the mid-'70s will be honored on Friday night at halftime of Loomis's game with Cambridge. Bill, I have to think back in that time period, mid-'70s, even just winning the FKC conference title, that had to be quite the accomplishment.
Yeah, because there's great teams. Kearney Catholic was in there, and Amherst, and SEM, Hildreth, Overton, Axtell. I mean, great teams. And, we didn't have to travel very far for our games. And, we're all pretty close-knit group, and coaches all knew each other. And so it was fun.
Over the years, have you been able to stay close with some of the players?
Yeah, I'd say close to, Rick Pettit. He gave me a scrapbook, and I read through it. Man, it just brought back a lot of memories about how that season happened, and how lucky we were to be where we ended up being co-champions of the FKC. And at that time, Bob Bantine was a writer for the Kearney Daily Hub, and he really covered the Fort Kearney Conference really well, and he wrote nice articles and was really involved with the Fort Kearney Conference.
So many memories, and for you, I'm sure at the time, being a young coach, did it dawn on you with what was happening? I mean, what an opportunity for you to step into.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I remember our first game, when I first came over there, we got ahead of a team, and thought the crowd went crazy. I think it was the first time they ever been ahead. So anyhow, I knew that I was in a program that I could make it better, and so the kids really, really accepted what I taught them and worked hard at it, and they had a good mindset of how to win a ball game.
Yeah, you might have been the most popular guy in town. You might have wanted to run for mayor back then, Bill.
Well, yeah, it kind of seemed like in these small schools, they kind of rate you on how your athletic program is, and so anyway, they knew they hired me as a coach and not as a teacher.
Well, it sounds like you delivered, at least early on.
Yeah. So,
well, I'm sure you just have to really be looking forward to this Friday night and the reunion, and quite a night that should be in Loomis.
Yeah, I got to tell you a story that Craig Larson told me. He says, "Hey, Coach, you don't remember you don't remember whenever we were behind at halftime, us underclassmen, we just hustled to the bus on these away games to get clear in the back because we knew we were going to catch Dickens at halftime." I didn't know that was happening.
The things you learn after the fact, huh?
Yeah. He's really appreciative of Craig putting this together, and I'm sure we're going to have a good time Friday night.
That was former Loomis football coach Bill Patterson. He and his teams from 1975 and 1976 will be honored this Friday night in Loomis as the Wolves will have that big game against Cambridge. Now, prior to the game, players and Coach Patterson will gather at the Loomis Community Building next to the football field beginning at 5. They'll do that up until game time, and then there's probably a good bet there will be some more reminiscing taking place after the game. It should be a great night for all of that this Friday night in Loomis. For KRVN Sports, I'm Jason Jorgensen.